welcome to our live Pittsburgh Sportsline in the BPTV studio. Thanks for watching us. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. I got Chip Hayner back from a little vacation hiatus, eating lobster and lobster and lobster, but he's back.
Smothered with lobster.
Yes. And Smoking Jim, a.k.a. Stevie Wonder, still says he looks like Muhammad Ali. Get me your Muhammad Ali photos and send them to me, because I don't think he can see, but he looks like a spitting image of Stevie Wonder, especially with that headband that he has under his hat. But we're going to start our show. Great to have my guys here with me. Got a lot of sports for you. Thanks for watching us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park and all the way from Nemacolin, Cranberry, Wexford, and every point in between that Verizon's there. So check it out throughout the greater Pittsburgh area. Appreciate it. Thank you for all the likes on Facebook, 6,873 likes. Thanks for watching our shows and liking our page. We appreciate it. Just being a small TV show, we appreciate all you thousands of people liking our show, so keep it up. I got a few promos here to show you. Let's see what they do in the control room. Here's the first one. Olive Oil's Pizzeria, 412-831-1900, Hillcrest Shopping Center. Most people, including Smoking Jim, drive by it on 88. Going one way, it's on the right. Coming back towards Pittsburgh, it's on the left. You can't miss Olive Oil's Pizzeria. Great XL pizza and steak hoagie here tonight. We always enjoy it. Next up's the Bethel Park Historical Society Arts and History Center, 2600 South Park Road. Reginald's Coffee's there right on the corner. Check it out. Great coffee, great tea. They give me some Dragonwell in a pot, and it's delicious. Stop by there every week. Check them out. They do a lot of great things there. Also, some great businesses rent up there, and there's even an artist up there also. Next, I end each show with Stay Joey Strong in honor of Joey. Didn't make it to his 9th birthday. Died 4 years ago from DIPG, the dreaded brain cancer. His family has sucked it up and earned out over $100,000 with their events, and they send that to the doctors to try to find a cure. So we pray for them finding a cure. For all these kids that get this disease, it's a death sentence. 1 year, they're dead. Just terrible. Next, I Want You for BPTV. Dave likes to have some fun. There's a commercial where I talk where I want you for BPTV. Tell them Uncle Al, the talking machine, sent you to help out, like Zach is back. Or no, yeah, Jack is back. Zach isn't back yet, but we got Steve here. And he's been here for 2 years now, and he's doing a heck of a job. And call 412-831-3304. Tell Dave Cable I want to be working on audio and video in the studio and on location. So check that out. Next up, Wanted. Bethel Park groups and organizations who need money from $100 to $5,000. I'm a trustee on the Bethel Park Community Foundation Board. Get an application, come there and get money for your group to continue doing great things in the Bethel Park community. We gave out over $100,000 last year, and we could do it again. We also have scholarships and all that for the high school kids as they go into college. Just check out all the great things that we do. They're involved in the Memorial Day Parade, Community Day. They have a booth. They're around and about everywhere. So check it out, bpcf.org. Next, we had some guests on a show called a movie, Sandman, that should be coming out. They have DVDs on it. James Quinn wrote it and acted in this great film and told us a little bit about it last night when we were on location. Now, I got to give one more promo. A friend of Smoking Jim, who's now my friend, wrote a book, Strange Angels. Ernie Keegan.
I didn't read it yet.
He actually was a trainer of Jose Caraballo back when he was a young fighter. And he's good friends with Jose and Smoking Jim also. And he told me a little secret. He gave Smoking Jim a book And he said he hasn't even read it yet. I go, I like to read. People have been on my show and they've given me books. He handed me this book and said, will you read it? I said, yeah. He goes, I should have asked Smoking Jim to give you the book. I go, forget it. He got it hidden in his room with all the sweeties that he has. He can't even pull that book out. But I got the book. I will read it. And this is his second book I had heard. Next, we have a sponsor for What's on Your Mind. It's Skeets Lewandowski of Skeets Service Station. Anything and everything that runs on gas, he works on it. They have a forge. They have a milling station. From 1907, they have machinery. They make drive shafts. They own Pittsburgh Drive Shaft now, so they can do all this stuff. Give them a call, 724-348-4715. They're past Mineral Beach, which is closed, Trax Farm, the Dairy Queen. They're a red, white, and blue station. You can't miss them. So that's Skeets Service Station, 7 miles from my house here in Bethel. Check them out. All right, let's start this show up. What's on your mind, Smoking Jim Frazier?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
Coming at you.
you got the C. Levine. Best wide receiver in the National Football League, Andy Isabella. Rookie white wide receiver from UMass. You
What
heard
color
that
did
name
you say?
first. White guy.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Probably the fastest in the league.
Who
too.
sold him? Who signed him?
Arizona. Drafted him.
Thanks,
My number
Smoking
one-
Jim. We
my
appreciate
number one
it.
rated receiver in this year's draft. But speaking of things before the draft, if you'd have asked me before the season started if I thought right now the Pirates would be 32-39, I wouldn't have believed it. I wouldn't have thought they had 32 wins at this point. But it looked like the season's just about over. But hey, the PA Sports Hall of Fame Western chapter.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
Yeah, let me say that again. PA Sports Hall of Fame Western chapter offered me the executive board for diversity position. So I'm honored about
You should
that.
take it because you're the most non-racist guy that we've ever had on our show.
Well, the one thing about me, the biggest negotiation is I like to keep the people out that I don't want in. So as long as I can do that, I got quite a
You mean like Pete Rose and Barry Bonds?
They deserve to be in, but so hopefully I'll accept the position as long as they keep some people out of the Hall of Fame that I don't want
Well,
in.
you only got one vote. I'm sure there's other people there.
Well,
The money
that's
talks,
the thing.
right?
For him.
That's the thing. But anyhow,
Okay,
He
Smoking.
listens to dead presidents.
Yes.
and finally,
We don't even know what you were talking about there.
yeah, a friend of the show. I think CBS is going to be owing some people some apologies. I'm not going to mention any names, but there's a great coach out there. They said he did some really ugly, bad things. I reached out to some of his, people that he coached, but until he tells me he did it, I will not believe it. I'm going to stand behind my friend, and that's all I got to say. And some of these news outlets, they're going to owe him a big apology one day, I believe.
Smoking Jim, you're one of the most mysterious guys that we have. Tell us what's truly on your mind. I can't figure out what is on your
I
mind.
don't know who you're talking about. I don't know what
Yeah.
they alleged he did.
He's a friend of me and Al, so he's part
Yeah.
of the family.
What was he alleged to have done?
I really don't want to.
He only wants to tease you with part of it. He don't believe it. So
Yeah, I don't believe it.
who knows?
I'll send you. So you still on Messenger?
Mm-hmm.
I'll forward you something on Messenger.
Good enough.
Thanks for being so secretive, Smoking Jim.
It's all lies.
We don't even know what you're talking about, but thanks.
Hey, there's people getting out of jail for 20 years, just things they didn't do. So hopefully it don't.
That
take
they had to
20
serve time for 20 years.
So
Thanks, Smoking Jim. At least stating the obvious, I understand that. Stevie, you're in rare form tonight. He did it again. I don't know what he's
Holy-
looking at. And I'm glad you're drinking Starbucks with a ginger ale.
I couldn't
Chaser.
find your coffee place.
It's 2600 South Park Road. It's about less than half a mile away from here. I'll show you when we get out.
I had to put GPS on to find Starbucks. I never noticed it before.
That's right there.
I know.
Ah.
I even passed it. It's like turn right right here. Where?
Smoking Jim, I'll just thank you for your what's on your mind and where's Starbucks. Reginald's Coffee, 2600 South Park Road. Put that in your GPS or look it up in your Funkin' Wagnalls. Do something. All right, Chip, what's on your mind?
Well, thank you, Alan. And it's good to be back. Had some travels, but unlike my friend Jim, I'm going to try to keep my commentary to something related to sports.
Okay, thanks.
Okay? And last
We
week,
do have a sports show.
last week we did crown 2 first-time world champions.
Unbelievable, huh?
World champions, the Toronto Raptors, the first team outside of the continental United States to win the NBA title. Tip my hat to the Toronto Raptors. They legitimately beat the Golden State Warriors in 6 games, 4 games to 2. Even though the Warriors suffered some pretty horrific injuries during the course of the series, you still have to dress 5 for every game.
Yeah.
And the Raptors put it on them. So congratulations to the Toronto Raptors. Also, the St. Louis Blues, who joined the NHL as part of the Second Six
67.
in 1967, along with
The
the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Minnesota North
Smoking
Stars.
Jim's up on that,
He's,
yeah.
he's all up on that sports. Okay.
Now he can see. He can read that.
But during my travels, I traveled to New England, specifically in the state of Maine. And last Wednesday night, I got the dubious pleasure of enjoying Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals in a room full of Boston Bruin fans. And I was rooting for the St. Louis Blues. Oh, boy, did I have a good time. And there was people uttering my name in not so flowery terms last Wednesday night. But congratulations to the St. Louis Blues. They absolutely earned that Stanley Cup. The goaltender for the St. Louis Blues, his last name is Bennington. He's the first rookie in the NHL to ever win all 16 games
That's
in a playoff
amazing.
run.
Amazing.
He had tied the record by winning his 15th game, and he's the first one to win all 16. And the Boston Bruins came out in Game 7 in Boston, nonetheless. And they threw everything that they had and even a few things they didn't have at this young goaltender.
They were trying.
And he stood up and made save after save after save. It was an incredible performance. The Blues got a couple of lucky breaks, and sometimes when you're playing in a game as tight as the game that was played Wednesday, that's what makes the difference in the game. And St. Louis won their first championship, their first Stanley Cup. I applaud the St. Louis Blues. Congratulations on your first championship. And they didn't even let torrential downpours dampen the fun they had in their victory parade. By the way, yesterday's victory parade, there were only 4 shootings, but 1.5 million people were in downtown Toronto to celebrate the Raptors winning the NBA
Did anybody
titles.
shoot Drake? No.
No,
He was shooting.
no.
He was firing shots.
I'm not going there, no sir. But
He
just
laid down some lead.
So, June was a pretty exciting month. We crowned a new U.S. Open champ on Sunday. And, oh, by the way, it wasn't Tiger Woods. And he finished in, I believe, 21st place, somewhere about where he belongs. Brooks Koepka, believe it or not, almost won his 3rd consecutive U.S. Open, and nobody has ever done that before. Wow. So he was in it until the end, and he put up a good fight. But
Nobody almost won 3?
Pardon me?
Nobody almost won 3.
He didn't stutter.
Nobody ever won 3
Stevie,
U.S.
he
Opens
didn't
in a row.
stutter.
In a row.
He wasn't stuttering. I don't
And-
know
and-
what happened to your
and-
hearing.
So there's been some great things going on in sports.
Relax.
And, I just want to clue my dear friend Jim in. The last time I checked, okay, could be wrong, but the baseball season doesn't end on June 18th, okay?
Really?
The Pittsburgh Pirates, and we'll talk about them later.
Yeah.
They've run into some rough waters, but I think the Pirates pitchers are getting healthy again. And Trevor Williams will start tomorrow night. Jordan Lyles will be back on the mound during this homestand. And the Pirates bench and they're starting 8. You know why I say starting 8, Jim? Because the pitcher is included. I'm talking about their position players. The Pirates have a really nice team, and their offense has been spot
Pretty
on
good,
for the
yeah.
last 6 weeks. Led, of course, by Josh Bell, and who's leading the major leagues in RBIs. So he's also leading first baseman in the National League by 88,000 votes over Freddie Freeman of the Atlanta Braves for the starting first baseman's position in this year's
Can I
All-Star
ask you a
game.
question?
Mm-hmm.
Who was the guy, I don't know what team it was, but bunted into a double? Did you hear about that?
I
Yeah.
missed that one.
Yeah, he
It's
bunted
probably
into
not the first time it's happened.
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, he bunted
Well,
and
I
took
mean,
it.
here's the thing.
With the shifts,
in a
this happens.
162-game season, people make some boneheaded plays. It happens.
And with the shift, if you hit it to the left side and they're all on the right, there's nobody to get the ball.
Maybe the Pirates players ought to get baptized and get the curse off of them.
There is no curse.
Right now, the only thing being baptized is the baseball because the Pirates hitters are crushing the ball as of late. So, but other than that, I'm happy to be back. I'm enjoying the summer sports season. A lot going on. NHL draft on Saturday. Trade was made the other day. Ollie Mata is gone. Brought in a forward from the Chicago Blackhawks, a rookie who's getting paid a quarter of what they paid.
That was a
Ollie
financial
Mata.
savings, yeah.
It was a financial savings. So more moves will happen between now, maybe before the draft.
Get
The
rid of the
draft is
coach.
on Saturday.
Get rid of the coach.
No, 2 back-to-back championships. You give them.
They're not ready. Smoking Jim, the average NHL coach lasts 4.3 years.
He's been there that long.
Yeah, but
No,
he's-
this will be his 4th, and then
Yeah.
we get .3 in. Boom, gone.
Yeah.
No, he's been there 4. He won 2 and then didn't.
He
The
did.
first
Yeah.
year he was here, he won a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, second
2016. Second year, he won
Yeah.
a Stanley Cup.
Third
and his
year he
last
didn't.
year.
Third year he didn't. Last year he didn't.
Yeah, he got
That's
4.
Huh?
All right, .3 then.
Yeah, get rid of it.
Well, he didn't start coaching the team at the beginning of his first season. It was midway through the season.
Cut the weight. He's
Okay,
bad for a
you know
team.
what? Just the facts.
Smoking Jim's a true negative guy
But-
with buckos and penguins.
And I
When
now
it comes to Steelers, he hates Tomlin, but he loves him.
hand it off to Al Levine, the talking machine. What's on your mind?
Hey, what's on my mind is penguins. I happened to be listening to an interview with Jim Rutherford, the
Yes.
general manager of the Penguins.
Yes.
And he was talking about Phil Kessel. And he said they did try to trade him, but they don't have a problem with him. Everybody gets along with him. Everybody likes him. He has a good attitude. They don't foresee any problems with him staying on the team. So I thought that was interesting that they've tried to trade him 2 years now in a row. He turned down the latest trade, and he did have some problems scoring, and he doesn't play defense very well. So we will see what happens, but it was interesting that they were talking about Phil Kessel staying now.
Phil Kessel's a bit of a conundrum.
Yeah.
Do you like that word?
I don't know.
Look
That's my
it up
20
in the
that's
dictionary.
That's my 25-cent word for the day.
Look it up in the
But
dictionary.
here's the thing. Phil Kessel, if you look, he went several months without scoring a goal.
Yeah,
But he still averaged a point a game last year.
right.
Okay?
Just like with Malkin being a minus 27, scoring a point a game.
What Phil Kessel has done throughout his career, he started in Boston, and he didn't play nice with the coach, and he wore out his welcome, and he got traded to Toronto.
Yeah,
And he
wore it out there.
And then he didn't play nice with the coach, and he wore out his welcome there, and he got traded to Pittsburgh. Do Do we see a recurring theme here? So now, Mike Sullivan is the one who seems to have a bit of a problem with the way Phil Kessel plays his game because Phil is not going to adjust the way he plays to the coach's system.
Not yet.
Subsequently, there is a problem. However, he does have the right of first refusal on a trade demand. And, so we can't really get rid of him. And I think the reason to get rid of Phil Kessel more than anything else is for cap room.
Yeah.
He's got a huge contract. And I think that's also what keeps us from being able to trade him because who wants to accept that financial responsibility?
Right.
Okay. And, what are you going to get back in return? Now, speaking of the Penguins, Rutherford's willing to listen to trade talks on anybody.
Yeah.
It all depends on, does the trade make sense? Is it going to benefit the Penguins?
Yeah.
So,
it was a good interview that he gave.
He basically said nobody's untouchable.
Yeah.
But it depends on what the return is.
No, I heard that, and
It
I just
depends
thought
on
it
what
was,
the return is.
I just thought it was interesting that we can keep Kessel and have no problem with him. We'll just move on. So we'll see what happens. We're going to come back with some fiction and fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine, and Chip, and my main man Jack back there stole a little bit of my thunder. And
Oh, no, he took it all.
how about the Rookie of the Year, Steve Fisher?
What about it?
Now we can't call him Rookie of the Year. I think now he's going to get some of the awards that Devin Shea got at the end of the year
He's trying.
for most
Valuable.
valuable, and he's always out on location and stuff like that. So he's making a heck of a name for himself. But
Yeah.
what's on my mind with Fiction and Fact, Smokin' Jim's Almanac,
No, what is it?
Anthony Davis
Okay.
is the new Herschel Walker. Hey, look here. The LA Lakers, they gave up way too much, in my opinion, for one player. They gave up Lonzo Ball, best point guard in the game,
No.
Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, and they gave up 4 first-round picks, including the 4th pick
This year.
in this year's draft.
Yeah.
For one guy, Anthony Davis. They fell in love with his eyebrows, and that kind of reminded me. Eyebrow, yeah.
There's one
Unibrow.
across both eyes.
And if you
Yeah.
remember back to the Herschel Walker trade,
No, I don't.
which is 30 years ago. It
Wow.
was 1989. 30 years to the date. They gave up 18 players and 6 draft picks, Minnesota Vikings, to get Herschel Walker. The Dallas Cowboys went from worst to first. And I agree with my main man, Chip Hayner, that the New Orleans Pelicans, or should I call them the New Orleans Jazz, they will be maybe the greatest team of all time. Lonzo Ball running with Zion Williamson.
Forget it.
Man, that's going to be a track. meet,
Forget
brother.
it. Forget about it.
I'm a fan now.
Forget about it.
The money I win on the Pirates not winning 79 games, I'm putting it all on New Orleans. I'm pushing all my chips.
You've lost before. Folks, don't start
Can I
betting.
just share one thing with all the money that he didn't bet? Well, here's what. The only reason why Jim has not lost so much money recently is because basketball season's over.
That's true.
Is that it, Smokin' Jim?
That's it.
Thanks for explaining what was truly fiction and fact.
Well, everybody, once again, it's time for Chip's Trivia. And the last trivia segment I did, I managed to bring up some of the what I consider unbreakable records in
Yes.
baseball. And I brought up Johnny Vandermeer,
Yes.
who had back-to-back no-hitters, which is something I feel will not happen again. When you figure your average starting pitcher, if he gets 5 innings in, they're considering that a successful outing. I have a tendency to disagree with that opinion, but that's just my humble opinion.
And don't ask Smoking Jim his
So,
opinion.
what I'd like to do is I'd like to bring up 20 interesting facts about a feat that will never be repeated. And this happened in the glorious summer of 1941.
Whoa.
A number of things happened in 1941 that probably make it one of the greatest baseball seasons of all time. Ted Williams, last batter to bat 400 for a season. Wow. Okay? But the more impressive statistic was Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak.
That'll get broken.
Now, Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak, the longest in baseball history, began on May 15th, 1941, and it ended on July 17th. And I say that because that's just 29 days away.
And that's Smoking Jim's birthday.
Yes.
Alan, Courtney, and Ben Horner wrote a song about Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak,
Say it ain't
Joltin'
so,
Joe DiMaggio. That became a big hit for the Les Brown Orchestra. You know Les Brown and his band of renown?
I
You
know,
remember
motivational
yeah,
speaker.
see, Alan
Yeah.
knows what I'm talking
Les
about.
Brown's a good speaker for you, Smoking Jim.
No, number 2 on the list, and
Inspirational.
this one has a Pittsburgh connection. And can you believe that in the 1950s, when the Pirates were losing way more baseball games than they've lost in the last 10, okay, that somehow the Pittsburgh Pirates would have, or the Pittsburgh itself would have a connection to Joe DiMaggio's hitting streak. Wow. Joe DiMaggio confided to a teammate that failing to extend his hitting streak for one more game cost him the $10,000 promised to him by the Heinz Corporation
Yeah,
to
I remember
endorse their
hearing that.
Heinz 57
that's
products.
That's awesome.
Okay? So, there you go. Now, next up, during the hitting streak, DiMaggio batted .408 during the streak. 91 hits, 223 at-bats with 15 home runs and 55 RBIs.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby. That usually will get you somewhere. Number 4, DiMaggio was voted the American League MVP that season over Boston Ted's Williams, who hit .406, the last time a major leaguer hit over 400. And in the state of baseball in 2019, nobody's ever going to hit 400 again. They're lucky if they can do it for a week, maybe 10 days for a season. Never happening.
Can I ask you a question? Who deserved, I think Ted Williams deserved that MVP. Who would you have given it to?
Well, you know, it's interesting. I would have made them co-MVPs. You know, I wouldn't say, I would say they were both phenomenal accomplishments, and I don't think either of them will ever be repeated. But how do you weigh one over the other? You know, and then maybe if you look at it, well, which team won the championship that year? Probably DiMaggio's Yankees. I'd have to check.
Yeah.
But you know, if you look at which player helped his team win the championship or the pennant, and I'd probably what tilted the scale in DiMaggio's favor.
I'd give it to Ted Williams.
The longest.
You're not a true baseball fan or
Well,
writer.
you know, and no, everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Yeah.
And that's Jim's humble opinion.
Yeah.
The longest hitting streak since DiMaggio established the record was 44 games by gambling Pete Rose in 1978. And you know what? Pete was all in on 45 games, and he came up just short. The gambler's life, huh?
That's what the bookie said.
The streak was interrupted by the 1941 All-Star Game at Briggs Stadium in Detroit. DiMaggio was 1 for 4 against the National League. And so you could say that his streak actually did hit 57 games.
Yeah.
But
Not official.
it was an exhibition game. It wasn't a real game. He homered for his only hit versus Boston on July the 2nd. DiMaggio never bunted for a hit during the streak.
Wow.
The St. Louis Browns gave up the most hits, 22 in 12 games.
22 hits.
And I do believe the St. Louis Browns may have been the team that became the Baltimore Orioles.
Oh, yeah. They
I would
did.
have to check
Yeah,
on
they
that.
did.
Indians reliever Joe Krakasoskis, a native of Quebec, was the last pitcher to yield a hit to DiMaggio during the streak. DiMaggio had a 61-game hitting streak when he played for the San Francisco Seals of the Pacific Coast League in 1933, second longest in minor league history to Joe Wilhoit, who had a 69-game hitting streak in 1919, 100 years ago. The streak almost ended at 35. On June 24th against St. Louis, DiMaggio was hitless when he batted in the 7th inning. Browns manager Luke Sewell ordered Bob Moncrief to walk him. Moncrief refused. Sewell relented, and DiMaggio singled.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Another player not listening to his manager. Jeez.
What would Smokin' Jim have done?
What would Smokin' Jim have done? During the streak, he faced 4 future Hall of Fame pitchers: Lefty Grove, Hal Neuheiser, Hal Neuheiser twice, Bob Feller, and Ted Lyons.
Wow.
Who gets credit for the nickname, the Yankee Clipper? That was one of DiMaggio's. You know, like Ted Williams' nickname was the Splendid Splinter. Joe DiMaggio was the Yankee Clipper. According to DiMaggio's official website, Yankee Stadium announcer Arch McDonald came up with the moniker for the gracefulness of his play in the field.
Wow.
When the streak began on May 15th, the Yankees were 14-14, 5.5 games behind Cleveland in 4th place. After game number 56, and this is probably why he won the MVP, the Yankees were 55-27 and first place with a 6-game lead over Cleveland.
Wow.
It all depends on what you do for your team. After extending the streak to 56 on July 16th, DiMaggio led the American League in runs, hits, and RBIs and was tied for the lead in home runs and was second to Ted Williams in batting. Ted Williams at that time was batting .395. Joe DiMaggio was batting a paltry .375. St. Louis Browns teammates Bob Harris and Eldon Ocker each gave up 5 hits during the streak. Number 18, although he failed to get a hit in game 57, DiMaggio did walk the reach base in a streak that would extend to 74 games, second all-time to Ted Williams' mark of 84 games in 1949.
Wow, for getting on base.
For getting on base. Wow. DiMaggio got hits in both games of a twin bill May 30th versus Boston, games 15 and 16, but he also committed 4 errors. And
Wow.
probably would have got roasted on social media for that.
Yeah.
DiMaggio got 2 hits off of Cleveland's Bob Feller on June 2nd. The next day, the New York Times reported DiMaggio, incidentally, has hit safely in 19 straight games, believed to be the first printed reference to the streak.
Wow.
So just some facts about some feats in baseball that will never be repeated, and there will be more coming.
Well, before we go to the Levine, the taco machine, can I ask you something, Chips? Because you'll probably know this since you used to be a bartender. Was Joe DiMaggio and President Kennedy seeing Marilyn Monroe at the same time?
No.
As far as you know?
No. As a matter of fact, by that time DiMaggio had divorced. They were together in the early 50s, I believe.
Okay.
Okay, and I don't believe that she got involved with the president until after he was elected.
Well, this is 41?
1941.
1941.
And President Kennedy was president in 63.
Yeah.
Joe was still, wow.
Joe wasn't
that's
playing
impressive.
at that point. But
He wasn't
I
playing at that
probably
He was
still
doing
had,
Mr. Coffee.
Huh?
he
was
probably still had some game though.
'Cause I was thinking that when he had the 4 errors, or maybe he was with Marilyn Monroe, but that was too early.
Smokin' Jim, I read a good book.
That
I
was-
have it
that
on
was
Joe
too early.
DiMaggio. It's
Really?
a great book. Talks about how he is. He was as cheap as could be.
Joe was.
Wherever he went, they set him up with women, all kinds of hotel rooms, everything.
That's
You'd have been proud of him. I'll end it and we'll move on. Thanks, Chip.
And then there's the other Yankees who are despicable characters like Billy Martin and Mickey Mantle and
You didn't
Rodney
like-
Ford.
What? You didn't like Mickey Mantle and
As a ball
Mark?
player, yes. As a human being, not so much.
Mickey Mantle.
Apparently, you've read nothing about him.
No, I just thought
No, he doesn't.
how great an athlete he was and how fast he was for him.
He was an incredible athlete.
I mean, he drank. You didn't
and-
like him because he drank?
Jim,
We'll talk off air about that, Smoking
what?
Jim. Thank you, Chip Hayner, for your trivia.
One of my favorites, Mickey Mantle.
All right, our on location. Well, we had a great show. We had a series of 3 shows in the month of June. Steel Cactus, Olive Oil's Pizzeria, and the VFW Post 118 in Millville, 100 years old. It was founded in 1919.
Wow.
Jose Caraballo asked us to do a show there. We had a great show, full cast of guests. Couldn't have asked for any better guests. It was great. We had Natalie Sugars, singer, actress, model, soon to be elected into the Pittsburgh Sportsline Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Jose Caraballo, trainer of Ray Schaefer Boxing Association, actor in the SAG, Screen Actors Guild, in some movies. James Quinn, actor and producer of Sandman, a movie that came out locally. And we had another guy, Eddie Holiday, another actor. So great guys there. We had 3 boxers on, Jalen, Jaden, and Maddie, boxers with the Ray Schaefer Boxing Association. And then last but not least, we had 3-time Golden Glove champion Colleen Davis, one of Smokin' Jim's favorites, and soon to be inducted into the Pittsburgh Sportsline Hall of Fame. So now I know he has 3 at least coming for our on-location show, July 8th. This is at Olive Oil's Pizzeria. The traditional Pittsburgh Sportsline Hall of Fame will be at Olive Oil's Pizzeria, 7:30 to 8:30 on July 8th. That's 930 Brookline Boulevard. So check it out. We also have an on-location boxing match at the VFW, Post 118 in Millville, Saturday night. They got some great boxing coming up there. They got a new ring, an 18-foot ring instead of the 24-foot ring. So Smokin' Jim and I will have a little room with the people hustle and bustle up there, and we're going to have some fun filming that show. We're on location July 8th, then July 15th. We're going to be at the Ray Schaefer Boxing Association on Main Street in downtown Sharpsburg. Wow. Nice, great old historical building, and they have a ring that Ezzard Charles and fought in and everything, so it's a historic ring. We're going to be doing a show there, so check that out July 15th. And then I wanted to tell Smokin' Jim, we just got a show at Arnold's Tea, 502 East Ohio Street for July 27th at 2 o'clock. We're doing a Saturday afternoon show right a couple blocks down from the Park House, so
Yes.
get ready for that.
you've been
And-
there before, right?
No, he doesn't know Arnold's Tea.
No, the Park House.
Yes, yeah. He's been at the Park House. Yeah, especially with Babe Ruth looking down over Pirate fans. He remembers that, and I
Cursing
corrected him. I corrected him that Babe Ruth hit 3 homers out his last game at the Forbes Field,
Field.
one of them over the roof.
Well, who was he playing for?
He was playing, I forget,
Playing for the Boston
Braves.
Yes, he
Yes,
was.
and his career was soon to be over. But he jacked those 3 bombs out of the ballpark.
I never knew that.
Yeah, his last 3 homers. Smokin' Jim, you've learned more and much more on Pittsburgh Sportsline. Get ready for our show July 27th, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, buddy. That way you can still go around and see your sweeties later in the day. So that's our on location. We'll be back with some Bucko talk at the end. All right, we had the negative talk by Smoking Jim Frazier that he can't believe the Buccos are so good at 32 and 39. He has the under on 78 wins. I predicted by mid-80s, upper 80s. They've had every pitcher possibly known to their staff being injured and hurt, plus other injuries, and they have players coming back. Look at Josh Bell still hitting, leading the league in RBIs, Smoking Jim.
Wow.
And he's playing a heck of a good first base.
Well, and I'll tell you this about the Pirates this year. Sure, you could focus on the negative if that's what you choose.
AKA Smoking Jim.
If that's what you choose to waste your time doing.
Smoking Jim.
I look at what the Pirates have found in a team that nobody gave any credit for anything. Now, the Pirates' pitching was well documented. 4 of their 5 starting pitchers that they started to see have spent anywhere from a little bit to quite a bit of time
On the injured
list.
Yeah.
Okay, and which is something that you can't foresee, which has forced a lot of people to be brought up and used as fill-ins that have no business being in major leagues.
They weren't ready.
But here are the things that we found out about the Pittsburgh Pirates. And I think the future for the Pittsburgh Pirates is extremely bright. They found out that they have got a real live bona fide major league outfielder in Brian Reynolds.
Rookie of the year.
And Brian Reynolds, they just need to find a place to play him every day.
Yeah.
He is leading all major league rookies in batting average right now. He can certainly hit the cover off the ball, can play any of the 3 outfield positions. He's doing a great job. Starling Marte, for all of his shortcomings, and people have always expected much better out of Starling Marte, but in the last 4 to 6 weeks, he has, since May 23rd, he has been batting in the high 300s and has been very, very consistent at bat.
How about his throw?
And
100 miles per hour to get the runner coming into home.
And
Smoking Jim, you
that's
missed
the
that.
thing that's so frustrating
100
about
miles an
Starling
hour.
Marte, is that he shows flashes of brilliance like that, and then he shows flashes of complete indifference.
2-cent brain.
I don't know about that, but sometimes it doesn't seem like
Just a 2-center.
he's in the game. We picked up a couple of players and offered them minor league contracts and invited them to spring training, and they've earned roles on the team that far exceeded anybody's expectations. Francisco Liriano, on the downside of his career, a starting pitcher for most of his career, has been a solid middle inning performer coming out of the bullpen.
Stellar, yeah.
Melky Cabrera does nothing but hit.
And he plays well in the field.
As a matter of fact, in tonight's game, Melky Cabrera will be starting in right field, and Brian Reynolds will be starting in left field. And the reason each of them are starting is they're switch hitters. So it doesn't matter if they throw in a righty or throw in a lefty. Gregory Polanco, I believe he's still trying to find.
He hasn't recovered yet.
He hasn't, but he has been good with the bat.
Yeah. Out in the field, it's an adventure.
Which could ultimately lead maybe to him as being a trade piece, because right now what the Pirates are trying to do is they're trying to fit 5 outfielders into 3 starting positions. That leaves Corey Dickinson, who's just back off the injured list, who I think would probably make pretty good trade bait because of the fact he won a Gold Glove last year. He's only signed through the end of the season. Brian Reynolds, for example, the Pirates have him for 5 more years after this year. Okay,
can't beat that.
And he's got 3 years before, or 2 more years after this year before he's eligible for arbitration.
Right.
Okay, Josh Bell, who was listed as being probably the worst first baseman in the National League, has done nothing but prove all of his detractors
Hard
wrong.
work.
He's more than adequate at fielding his position. His throws, they leave a little bit to be desired, but his performance in the batter's box,
consistent.
Second to none. He's been awesome. Now, that leads us to some other moves. You know, the Pirates, I believe, have found their shortstop combination moving forward. Kevin Newman has found his batting stroke, and Cole Tucker is an amazing fielder,
Future.
and I think he needs to play. His hitting will come around, but he is by far has better range and a much more accomplished fielder.
And a great arm.
Of the two.
What an arm
So,
he has.
You know, Adam Frazier has been a bit of a disappointment at second base. He's not hitting the ball like he has in years past. And he does play an adequate enough first base. And that leads me to the third base issue. And right now, Colin Moran has earned the starting position. And unfortunately, Jung Ho Gong is starting tonight. And I do believe that the Jung Ho Gong experiment has been an abject failure. And look what Colin Moran has done lately. He's hitting the ball. He's got 40 RBIs already.
What did he have, 5 in the other game just
Yes,
recently?
yes.
I mean, that's awesome.
You know, so Colin Moran is coming around. Colin Moran has played left field. He's played right field. He's played second base. He's played third base.
Hold
so
it, shortstop
shown,
even. They put him in shortstop.
He's shown diversity to be able to move around, and he's still been consistent with the bat.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Francisco Cervelli, I don't know if we're ever going to see him play again. He's got concussion issues.
His whole career has been full of injuries.
Well,
And
the
when he
head
goes,
the head injuries
they're
or
more
something,
consistent now.
And Elias Diaz has proven that he is a starting
Yeah.
major league catcher. Jacob Stallings has been a great backup. I don't think the Pirates are missing
surprised me.
anything
Yeah.
with Francisco Cervelli. And as much as Cervelli is a fan favorite, you know, and the pitchers all love him and his teammates love him, you know, he's a catcher. And I don't understand why somehow the ball and bats and any other thing that they can think of find a way of hitting him in the head
all
more
the
so
time.
than any other player. I don't understand how and why that happens. But, you know, concussion-related issues, you got to think about, you know, down the road.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's going to be in his best interest. So, you know, we will see what happens. And, you know, I'm not going to say anything negative about Francisco Cervelli, but, you know, I just think maybe his time may have passed.
It might be over.
So that gets us back to the pitching issues. And, you know, 4 of our 5 starting pitchers have spent either a little bit or a lot of time on it. I know Jamison Taillon is getting close to the point where he's going to start throwing to see how his forearm is healed. Trevor Williams is back. He'll be starting tomorrow night against the Detroit Tigers.
And that's good.
And Jordan Lyles, after he tweaked his hamstring again, has had some time down, and he should be back and starting at some point this weekend. So that leads us to, you know, the pitchers that have not been on the disabled list for very long, which is Chris Archer. And I think Chris Archer has his performance has been less than acceptable. Let's just put it that way.
It's been a total disappointment for me.
He is capable of being so much better. And I think part of what his problem is that and I heard Jim Leland say this morning, that he's in love with his stuff, okay? And he's got 2 good pitches. He's got a fastball. He's got a slider, and you know he trusts his stuff more than I think he's willing to trust what other people want him to throw.
Yeah.
And he keeps on throwing the ball. 17 home runs he's given up this year. 5 in one game. 5 in one game against the Atlanta Braves last week.
Back to back to back to back.
We'll
never see that again.
That's
Maybe next time.
I hope not. Out of a Pirates pitcher, Joe Musgrove. You know, Joe Musgrove, when he's been good, he's been really good.
Yeah.
And when he's been bad, he's been really bad. Let's take into account that Joe Musgrove in 2017 was a young up-and-coming pitcher that was a relief pitcher. He really has only been a starting pitcher in the major leagues for a year. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think Joe Musgrove, I love his fighting spirit.
No quit in him.
And I mean, and his desire to win. And I think Joe Musgrove will figure it out. You know, so Nick Kingham.
Yeah.
Bye. He's gone. The Pirates gave him every chance that they could. He couldn't see it. Stephen Brault earned himself a spot in the starting rotation with his performance. He's been performing adequately.
Sure.
When the Pirates,
Need 'em.
they need pitchers that can go more than 3 innings. And
5, 6 innings
the
would
biggest
help.
problem with Chris
7.
Archer, I don't think he's made it out of the 5th inning but twice this year.
Yeah.
And by the 5th inning, he's throwing 100 pitches. Way too many pitches. He needs to figure it out. He's a better pitcher than his performance has shown in a Pirates uniform, and I hope he figures out.
Well, they've shown that he's had a decline each year since his good year.
No.
A good couple years, that he's had a decline each year.
See,
so
and
who knows if that's not the trend.
And here is the thing with pitchers. Usually, it's your arm that gets you into the big leagues. Okay, when these young kids come up and they're throwing the ball 90, 95, 100 miles an hour, okay?
Yeah.
And that stuff got them to the major leagues. But when you get to the major leagues, batters
Everybody
can
can
hit
hit it.
those. Everybody can hit those pitches. So what you have to learn how to do is, instead of throwing the ball, you have to learn how to pitch. You have to learn how to vary your speed, vary, your
Location.
Location is everything.
Yeah.
In, out, up, down. You can't just sit there and think that you're going to blow the ball past. Nolan Ryan, when he was a young pitcher with the New York Mets,
Wow.
they threw the ball all over the place. All of
His
a sudden,
control was not
he
there.
learned how to pitch,
Yeah.
and he became very efficient.
Yeah.
So
7 no-hitters.
So I hope that Chris Archer can learn how to pitch, because his stuff, it does play.
Yeah.
I mean,
His
he's
slider-
got good
his
stuff.
slider's
But I mean,
unbelievable.
right now he's too predictable, and he gets behind hitters, and he throws one right down the middle. And major league hitters are just going to hit those
jack
out of the
that
park.
ball out of
They're
there.
going to hit it out of the park more often than not. But I hope he can figure it out. Felipe Vasquez, spot on.
Nightmare.
As a closer, Kyle Crick has been great in the
Yeah.
8th innings.
Yeah.
Richard Rodriguez has been up and down and up and
Yeah.
down. He's been performing better lately.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things to be positive about. Yeah, the Pirates have had an 8-game losing streak. They just got off a 7-game losing streak. Okay.
Look how happy Smoking Jim is.
Yeah, Jim's loving it. But you know what? The Pirates, I feel, are a team that is poised to make a run. I think that they've got the position players. They've got the offense that can do it. All they need the pitching staff to do is keep them in games.
Yeah.
You know,
And hopefully everybody's healthy here in the next couple of weeks and give them the capability of making that run. Mm-hmm. That's all you need. Get the chance.
well, the position players have been healthy for
because
the
they're a
most part.
gritty team and there's no quit in their game. They do try.
No,
I miss Austin Meadows.
Why? What happened? You missed them when they sent them down last year too, didn't you?
yeah. But anyhow, one of the things that the Pirates are doing, a lot of the games that the Pirates have lost, there's been maybe 8, 10 games that they've got absolutely crushed in.
Sure.
Most of the games they're losing, they're in these games.
Yeah.
Or they have a lead going into the late innings and they give it up.
Sure.
So, it's
The
just...
bullpen has let them down numerous times.
And this is something that they're going to fix.
Yeah.
Okay? And, I believe it's going to happen. By the way, I'll be there Friday night and Saturday night watching it happen against the San Diego Padres.
Well, Smoking Jim will probably be there with 200 free tickets.
They've been a little slow on these.
I don't blame them. They listen to our show, and you're so negative about that.
Well, the tickets I bought, they came in March. I still have them.
Well, I want to thank everybody. Thanks for watching our show. Glad to have both guys back again for our show. You can see how informative it was. And we're going to have our differences, especially with Smoking Jim Frazier not liking or knowing baseball and not knowing or liking streaks, and bringing out the curse, which we still don't understand the logic behind the curse. So I want to say good night to you all. Thanks for watching, and stay Joey strong.